You probably remember a time when you could wake up full of pep without coffee, without aches, and without that midday slump that seems to hit out of nowhere. But somewhere along the way, that spark disappeared. Maybe you blamed it on getting older, on just accepting that this is how life is now. But what if I told you that deep inside your cells, you have tiny power plants that decide how young or old your body actually feels, and that you can literally grow new ones? Science now shows that a few everyday foods can flip your cells back on, recharging your energy, your muscles, even your independence. And best of all, they're probably sitting in your kitchen right now. So let's explore what these foods are, how they work, and why the newest human studies are proving it's possible to make new mitochondria the engines of life itself. Think back to when you were younger. Remember how you could move through your day without thinking about it? You'd climb stairs, carry groceries, play with kids or grandkids, and still have energy left over for an evening walk or a hobby you loved. That wasn't magic. That was your mitochondria working at full power. These microscopic structures are inside every single cell in your body, and they're the reason you have the energy to do anything at all. Think of them as cellular batteries, little power plants churning out the fuel. Your muscles, your brain, your heart, everything needs to function. When those batteries are fresh, just like brand new batteries in a flashlight, they hold a charge beautifully. They deliver steady, reliable power. But as we age, just like batteries that have been used over and over, they start to wear down. The light dims, the power fades. And that's exactly what happens inside your body. Old mitochondria that aren't working well begin to stack up. And when that happens, your body struggles to generate the energy it needs. You feel it as tiredness. You feel it as weakness. You feel it when you can't quite do the things you used to do without even thinking about it. Here's the truth that researchers are now understanding more clearly than ever before. This drop in mitochondrial health isn't just about feeling drained. It's one of the root causes of muscle weakness, of that sense of fragility that can creep in as the years go by. And it may even be connected to a growing number of age-related conditions, because when your cells can't produce energy efficiently, everything downstream suffers. But here's where it gets exciting, and I mean genuinely hopeful. Your body already knows how to replace those old batteries. It has a built-in system designed to sweep out the worn-out mitochondria and make room for new, healthy ones. It just needs the right raw materials to do its job. And one of those materials is a natural compound called urolithin A. Now, I know that sounds like something out of a chemistry lab, but stay with me because this is one of the most fascinating discoveries in recent aging research. Urolithin A is a molecule your body can produce naturally right in your gut. It's not a drug. It's not some synthetic invention. It's something your own gut bacteria create when you eat certain foods. And what it does is remarkable. It helps your body clear away those old, broken down mitochondria, the ones that are just taking up space and not contributing much anymore. Think of it like taking all the dead batteries out of your flashlight and tossing them out, making room for fresh ones. That's what urolithin A does at the cellular level. To prove this isn't just theory or something that works in a test tube, scientists decided to put it to the test in real people, and the results were nothing short of striking. Researchers in Switzerland at institutions known for rigorous science conducted a double-blind, placebo-controlled clinical trial. They enrolled over 60 adults, all of them sedentary, meaning they weren't athletes or gym enthusiasts, just regular people between the ages of 40 and 64 who lived relatively typical, not particularly active lives. Half of them received urolithin A as an oral supplement every day for about 4 months. The other half received a placebo, something that looked the same but contained no active ingredient. When the study ended, the differences were clear and measurable. The people who took urolithin A saw their muscle strength increase by somewhere between 10 and 15%. Let that sink in. They didn't start a new exercise program. They didn't change their diet dramatically. They simply gave their bodies the raw material to clean out old mitochondria and build new ones, and their muscles got stronger. Meanwhile, the placebo group, no change at all. Their strength stayed exactly where it was. But it wasn't just about strength. The researchers also measured walking endurance, how far people could walk before they felt too tired to continue. The group taking urolithin A improved their walking distance by around 50 to 70 meters. Now, you might be thinking, what does that really mean? Imagine a 20-story building lying on its side. That's roughly how much farther these people could walk without getting exhausted. That's not a trivial improvement. That's the difference between being able to walk to the park around the grocery store, through the mall, and feeling like you can't make it. The scientists didn't stop there. They measured something called VO2 max, which is essentially how efficiently your body uses oxygen. It's a marker of cardiovascular fitness and endurance. And guess what? The people taking urolithin A saw their oxygen efficiency improve by around 5 to 10%. That means their bodies were better at taking in oxygen and using it to create energy. Their mitochondria were working more efficiently. When the researchers looked directly at mitochondrial health, the results were even more impressive. The participants taking urolithin A had mitochondria that were 20 to 25% healthier than they were at the start of the study. That's a huge shift in just a few months. Out with the old, in with the new, literally at the cellular level. And there was one more finding that caught the scientists' attention. They measured C-reactive protein, or CRP, which is a marker of inflammation in the body. Chronic inflammation is like a slow fire burning through your tissues, wearing you down, contributing to fatigue and weakness. The people taking urolithin A saw their CRP levels drop by around 15 to 20%. That means urolithin A wasn't just helping with energy and mitochondria, it was also fighting inflammation. So where does this miracle molecule come from? You don't have to buy expensive supplements, though they do exist. Your body can make urolithin A naturally if you feed it the right foods. And the first of those foods is one that's been celebrated for thousands of years, prized in ancient cultures for its beauty and its health benefits, the pomegranate. Pomegranates are packed with compounds called elagitannins and elagic acid. When you eat pomegranate, those compounds travel down into your gut where your gut bacteria get to work. They transform those elagitannins into urolithin A, which then gets absorbed into your bloodstream and travels throughout your body, signaling your cells to start that cleanup process. You're not just eating a delicious fruit. You're giving your body the starter material it needs to rebuild its energy factories. Now, I'll be honest, not everyone's gut bacteria are equally good at this conversion. Some people's microbiomes are better at making urolithin A than others, which is one reason why some researchers are exploring supplements. But here's the thing. Eating pomegranates and other foods rich in these compounds benefits you in multiple ways, not just through urolithin A. You're also getting antioxidants, polyphenols, dietary fiber, anti-inflammatory substances that activate your body's natural health defenses. So even if your gut isn't the most efficient urolithin A factory, you're still winning. How do you incorporate pomegranate into your daily life? It's easier than you might think. If you eat yogurt in the morning, toss some pomegranate seeds on top. They add a sweet tart burst of flavor and a satisfying crunch. You can add them to salads for a pop of color and taste. You can blend them into smoothies, or you can simply eat them on their own as a snack. Fresh pomegranate juice, the kind without added sugar, is another option, though eating the whole fruit gives you more fiber and a fuller range of nutrients. But pomegranates aren't the only way to spark this cellular repair system. There's another food-off one you can grab by the handful that keeps the process going all day long. I'm talking about walnuts. Walnuts are one of nature's most concentrated sources of elagitannins, the same compounds found in pomegranates. When you eat a handful of walnuts, you're feeding your gut bacteria the raw materials they need to manufacture urolithin A. But walnuts do even more than that. They're rich in omega-3 fatty acids, particularly a type called ALA, which your body can convert into the more active forms of omega-3 seconds that support brain health, heart health, and yes, mitochondrial health. So walnuts are a double win. They help you build new mitochondria, and they provide healthy fats that keep your cells functioning smoothly. The beauty of walnuts is their versatility. You can snack on them straight from the bag. You can chop them up and sprinkle them over oatmeal or yogurt. You can toss them into salads for extra crunch and richness. You can even blend them into smoothies for a creamy texture and a boost of nutrition. Every time you eat walnuts, you're sending a signal to your gut: make more urolithin A, clean out the old mitochondria, build new ones. And if you love berries, if you look forward to berry season or keep a bag of frozen berries in your freezer, you're in luck. Because berries are the sweet, delicious side of mitochondrial medicine. Raspberries, strawberries, blackberries, they're all rich in elagic acid, the precursor to urolithin A. They're also loaded with antioxidants, compounds that protect your cells from damage, reduce inflammation, and support overall health. When you eat a bowl of berries, you're not just enjoying a naturally sweet treat. You're delivering a concentrated dose of cellular support. Every spoonful signals your body to clean out old cells and make room for new life. Berries are one of the easiest foods to incorporate into your daily routine. Have them for breakfast with a cup of coffee or tea. Mix them into yogurt or cottage cheese. Toss them into a smoothie. Eat them plain as a midday snack or as a light dessert after dinner. The best part, berries aren't particularly sweet in terms of sugar load, especially compared to processed desserts. They're hydrating, they're packed with fiber, and they're anti-inflammatory. If you make berries a regular part of your diet, you're not just eating for today's energy, you're programming your body to stay younger at the cellular level. Now, let's look beyond energy for a moment, because building new mitochondria is only part of staying strong as you age. Keeping your muscles alive, functional, and powerful, that's the next piece of the puzzle. And this is where another class of foods comes into play. Foods rich in omega-3 fatty acids, specifically the kind found in seafood. Researchers in Taiwan recently analyzed data from 12 high-quality randomized clinical trials involving over 2,000 adults aged 60 and older. They wanted to know, does eating omega-3 rich foods or taking omega-3 supplements have any measurable effect on muscle mass and muscle strength? And the answer was a resounding yes. The people who consumed the most omega-3 seconds experienced a modest but meaningful increase in muscle mass, somewhere around 1 to 3%. They also saw improvements in hand grip strength, which increased by around 3 to 5%. Now, you might be thinking, that doesn't sound like much. But here's why it matters. Hand grip strength isn't just about opening a jar of pickles, though that's certainly nice. Hand grip strength is a predictor of your ability to walk smoothly and not fall, to climb stairs without losing your balance, to live independently without needing assistance. Every bit of strength, every percentage point makes you more capable, more stable, more free. The participants in these studies also perform better on something called the chair rise test. This test, even if you've never heard the name, if you're sitting in a chair and someone asks you to stand up, what do? You have to push back, engage your legs, your core, your balance, and rise to your feet. That takes muscle strength and coordination. The people eating more omega-3 seconds improved their performance on this test by around 5 to 7%. So how do omega-3 seconds work? They work in several ways. One of the most important is that omega-3 fatty acids lower inflammation throughout your entire body. When you're inflamed, when that slow burn is happening inside you, it affects everything. You feel weaker, you feel stiffer, your energy drains faster. Omega-3 seconds help put out that fire. And when the inflammation subsides, you naturally feel stronger. You come out of that fog of fatigue. But omega-3 seconds do more than just fight inflammation. They improve something called neuromuscular function. Your muscles don't work in isolation. They're powered by nerves, electrical signals that travel from your brain and spinal cord down to every muscle fiber. Think of nerves like the wiring in your walls that delivers electricity to a lamp or an appliance. The muscle is the machine, but it needs that electrical signal to contract and produce movement. Omega-3 seconds make that connection between nerve and muscle work better. The signal is stronger, clearer, more efficient. That means your muscles respond faster and with more force. There's one more way omega-3 seconds support your muscles, and it's particularly important as we age. They actually turn on more protein synthesis inside the muscle cells themselves. Muscles are made of protein. If you want to maintain or even grow your muscle cells need to be actively making new protein. Omega-3 seconds flip that switch. They signal your muscles to build, to repair, to stay strong. And here's something really interesting. When you combine omega-3 seconds with resistance training, even light resistance training with bands or small weights, the effect amplifies. When you add a protein supplement like a protein powder in a smoothie, omega-3 seconds make that protein work even better to maintain muscle mass. It's all about synergy. Each element supports the others. So where do you get omega-3 seconds? The richest sources are oily fish, salmon, mackerel, sardines, but you can also find them in all kinds of seafood: shrimp, crab, lobster, squid, clams, mussels. If you're not a fish person, or if you follow a vegetarian or vegan diet, you can still get omega-3 seconds from plant sources. Flax seeds, chia seeds, walnuts, which we already talked about, and soybeans all contain ALA, the plant-based precursor to omega-3 seconds. Your body can convert some of that ALA into the more active forms EPA and DHA, though not as efficiently as getting them directly from fish. My advice, try to include fatty fish in your diet a couple of times a week, grill some salmon with lemon and herbs, toss sardines on a salad, make a tuna salad with olive oil and fresh vegetables. If you prefer plant sources, sprinkle ground flax seeds on your yogurt or oatmeal every morning. Add chia seeds to smoothies. Snack on walnuts in the afternoon. And if you want to be sure you're getting enough, especially if you don't eat fish regularly, consider a high-quality omega-3 supplement that's rich in EPA and DHA. Look for one that's been tested for purity because you want to avoid contaminants like mercury. The key is consistency. Omega-3 seconds aren't a one-time fix. They're a long-term investment in your muscle health, your mobility, your independence. Every serving is a signal to your body, stay strong, stay capable, stay young. Now, muscle and mitochondria are essential, but there's one more factor we need to address, one that quietly drains your energy from the inside out if you don't deal with it. I'm talking about oxidative stress. You can think of oxidative stress as tiny fires burning throughout your body at the cellular level. These fires are caused by free radicals, unstable molecules that damage your cells, your proteins, your DNA. They're created naturally as part of metabolism, but they're also generated by pollution, by processed foods, by poor sleep, by stress, even by the microplastics we're all exposed to now. When oxidative stress builds up, it's like your body is constantly under attack. You feel fatigued, you age faster, your cells don't function as well. And this is where a surprising food comes in, one that most people think of as just a refreshing summer treat, melons. Scientists in France, a country that takes its produce very seriously, conducted a fascinating study on melons. They grew beautiful ripe melons and extracted a concentrated form of the nutrients inside. What they found was that melon extract is rich in something called superoxide dismutase, or SOD. Now, SOD is like a fire extinguisher for your cells. When you have it in your body, it neutralizes those free radicals, puts out those tiny fires, and protects your cells from damage. In their study, the researchers gave participants melon extract every day for about 4 weeks. Half received the extract, half received a placebo. At the end of the study, the people who had been taking the melon extract saw their SOD activity increase by somewhere between 15 and 20%. That's a significant boost in your body's natural antioxidant defenses in just 1 month. And as a result, their oxidative stress levels went down. The damage to proteins in their bodies decreased by around 10 to 15%. Why does this matter? Because oxidative stress is one of the hidden causes of fatigue. When your cells are constantly being damaged and having to repair themselves, it drains energy. When you neutralize that stress with antioxidants like SOD, you free up energy. Your cells can focus on functioning well instead of just surviving. Now, you don't need to take melon extract to get these benefits, though supplements do exist. You can simply eat melons, cantaloupe, honeydew, even watermelon. They all contain SOD and other antioxidants. They're more than 90% water, which means they're incredibly hydrating. And dehydration is another major cause of fatigue. They're packed with vitamin C, they're anti-inflammatory, and they're naturally low in sugar compared to processed sweets. So you're not getting a huge blood sugar spike. One of my favorite ways to incorporate melons is to have them for breakfast. Just cut up half a cantaloupe or a few thick slices of honeydew. Maybe add them to a bowl with some yogurt, and you have a light, refreshing, energizing start to your day. You can also have melon as a snack in the afternoon when you feel that energy dip, or serve it as dessert instead of cake or ice cream. In many Asian cultures, fresh fruit like melon is served at the end of meals. And it's a wonderful health-promoting tradition. When you're buying melons, here's a tip. Press gently on the ends. A ripe melon will have a little give, just a slight softness. Then smell it. A ripe melon should smell sweet and fragrant, like it's ready to eat. If it doesn't smell like much, it's probably not ripe yet. Give it a couple of days on your counter. And by the way, melons aren't the only source of SOD. Spinach, broccoli, and green tea also provide SOD activity. So if you're eating a variety of vegetables and drinking green tea, you're building that antioxidant shield from multiple angles. It all works together. So let's bring this all together. You've learned about 4 key foods, or really 4 categories of foods that directly support your mitochondria, your muscles, and your cellular defense systems. Pomegranates with their L-argitannins that your gut converts into urolithin A, cleaning out old mitochondria and making room for new ones. Walnuts, providing both L-argitannins and omega-3 seconds, a double boost for energy and cellular health. Berries, sweet and delicious, packed with the precursors to urolithin A and loaded with antioxidants that fight inflammation and protect your cells. Omega-3 rich seafood, or plant-based omega-3 sources if you prefer, supporting your muscles, lowering inflammation, improving the connection between your nerves and muscles, and turning on protein synthesis so your muscles stay strong. And finally, melons and other foods rich in SOD, acting as your body's fire extinguisher, neutralizing oxidative stress and freeing up energy that would otherwise be spent on damage control. When you combine these foods, when you make them a regular part of your daily routine, you're not just eating for taste or to fill your stomach. You're reprogramming how your body ages. You're sending signals at the cellular level, make new mitochondria, protect the muscles, fight inflammation, neutralize stress, stay strong, stay energetic, stay alive in the fullest sense of the word. This isn't about perfection. You don't have to eat all 4 foods every single day, but consistency over time makes the difference. Maybe Monday you have a bowl of berries with walnuts on your yogurt. Tuesday you grill some salmon with a side of spinach. Wednesday you snack on cantaloupe in the afternoon. Thursday you toss pomegranate seeds on your salad. Small, simple choices that add up to a profound shift in your cellular health. And remember, food is only part of the equation. Movement matters too. Even gentle resistance training, walking, stretching, these activities stimulate your mitochondria and your muscles to stay active. When you combine good nutrition with regular movement, the effects multiply. Your mitochondria get the signal from both directions. We're needed, we're useful, we're going to stick around and stay healthy. The emotional payoff of all this goes beyond just numbers on a lab test or percentages in a study. It's about having the energy to play with your grandchildren without needing a nap afterward. It's about being able to travel, to explore, to stay engaged with life. It's about walking into a room and feeling capable, feeling strong, feeling like yourself. It's about not losing your independence, not becoming frail, not accepting decline as inevitable. Because here's the truth that the science is making abundantly clear. Aging does not mean you have to decline. Yes, time passes. Yes, our bodies change. But how they change, how well they function, how much vitality we maintain, huge part of that is under our control. It's determined by the choices we make every single day, 3 times a day, at every meal. So the next time you sit down to eat, think of it as charging your internal batteries. Every bite of pomegranate, every handful of walnuts, every bowl of berries or serving of salmon is a signal to your body to stay young at the cellular level. That's the science of mitochondria. And it's real, it's measurable, and it's within your control. If this helped you understand how simple foods can power complex biology, hit the like button, subscribe for more science-based health insights, and share this with someone who could use more energy and strength in their life. You might just help them rebuild their spark from the inside out.